Welcome to Friends Church, everybody. Take a deep breath with me. You know, we've all been spending a tremendous amount of time the last little while trying to deal with change, haven't we? Life. Did anyone in their strategic plans of their lives come up with a worldwide pandemic that would basically shut us down for however long? Anyone did that? Nothing? Life, the world has thrown change at us in the last half year like we've probably never seen before. And a lot of times what we do here at Friend Church is we're trying to inspire you to make the world around you a little bit better, but often what we do is we start with us. How do we find health? How do we deal with our baggage, our crap? How do we see the world around us in a new way? And I'm going to talk a bit more about that today, but over the last probably 4 months as I've worked through the series, and Jeff and I have been talking about this, one of the things we decided for this next series is we said, you know what? Now's not the time for just an iterative change. Just do things a little bit different. Just tweak it a little bit. The world has changed too much for that. It's time to look deeper than that. It's time to look at the foundation of who we are and what we believe, what we value, and how all of that comes together to create our lives. We think it's time to kind of do a full dig deep and go, okay, wait a second. Everything is up in the air right now. Who am I? And what do I believe? And what are my values? It's not sexy work. I'll tell you one little thing and it'll make your life better. It's not that kind of work. It's the kind of work that you have to dig deep in. You have to go to places that you maybe have avoided for a while, but my sense from right now is this is the kind of work that we need to figure out what's going on deep inside of us. So I want to invite you. It starts September 13th, I think. Did it say September 13th? September 13th. We're going to do 2 more weeks of this Revisited series, and then we'll start on that series. So I want to encourage you to put it in your calendar and come out and start that work with us. Because I think when we get through that, we'll be able to see the world through new eyes. So consider yourself invited.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Josh, and this is a portion of our service we call Charitable Giving. We want to give you the opportunity to contribute in a number of different ways to make sure the things that we do here at Friends, inside this building and out in the community, keep going. And there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can get your Friends Church app, and you can click Donate, and you can financially donate that way. And you can also go to the website and do the same thing. And I would encourage you that if you find a continuing value in Friends Church, there's a way that you can become a pre-authorized giver by clicking just a few more buttons, and then on a monthly basis, we can make sure that this whole show of Friends Church keeps going. I just wanted to welcome everybody that's here, socially distanced, in person, of course. If you're sitting at home by yourself with your coffee, or if you're gathered with a group of friends somewhere on this earth and listening, I just want to welcome you all, and I hope you find value in the message.
Yeah. Woo! That was good, Josh. Thank you. I usually like to start talking about stuff with my life, but today I think this is a story about all of our lives. So, me and my partner Ellie, it was date night, Friday. And, it'd been pretty busy, so I planned this date to this place called Waalflower. Anyone been to Waalflower? Nice. Really good cocktails, right? Good food. It kind of has this European feel where you feel like you're, on a little street in Italy. It's gorgeous. We're sitting there having this lovely meal. Ellie is dressed to the nines. If you know my partner, she's always dressed to the nines. I am dressed less to the nines. I'll maybe say I was dressed to the fours. I think I had a clean t-shirt on. I think that counts, doesn't it? And we're sitting there having this lovely meal. We're ordering cocktails. Our food comes. And I don't know about you guys, but the last, however many months, it just feels like a weight, doesn't it? Like I look back at all the things. So I had a trip to Moab with my motorcycle buddies, canceled. My niece was going to come up for our first ski trip ever together, canceled. Like it's just one after the other, right? And we're looking through our lives and we just see all this stuff that's just been changed or taken away or just not the way we want it. And we're sitting there having this amazing meal, and I don't think I'm even understanding it, but I can feel the weight of that. So me and Ellie finally figured out how for me to get away for a week from here, her to get away for a week from where she is. We decided we're going to go on a little holiday, like little. And we're sitting there discussing the holiday, and I, it's funny, I can even, as I tell you the story, I'm there. We're talking about it. And I can feel I want something from her. I want her to do something. And I can also feel that she doesn't want to do it. But man, I have missed how many holidays? Life has been stressful. Work has been busy. This hasn't gone the way I wanted. No one's taking care of me. And I can feel that energy just rising up inside of me. Anyone know that energy? And I can feel it. And I actually remember the moment when I just said, F it. I'm going to let her have it. 2 weeks ago, I talked about self-restraint as the core of happiness in relationships. Yeah, I threw that out. Just totally threw it out and let her have it. Now, I didn't yell, I didn't scream, but I pushed hard. If you guys know my partner, she doesn't take that from me. She slammed on the brakes hard, and I didn't care. I've had everything taken away from me. I haven't any time off. I'm stressed. I don't give a crap. And I just kept grinding it into there, right? For the first 5 minutes, it felt like, oh, this is going well. I'm getting what I want. Anyone had those blissful 5 minutes where you actually think the dysregulation that you're doing is actually working? And then my brain came back online, and I looked at Ellie, and I was like, oh, crap. For the next half hour, it was painful. We were going to finish our meal, and then we were right by the river, so I was like, we'll just walk down to the river and, go for this lovely walk down the river together. Half a block from the restaurant, I was like, okay, we're calling this. She's hurt. I'm pissed. There's no connection between us. There's no curiosity. There's no what's going on for you. It's just this hurt feelings and bad energy and anger, and it's just a mess. Now, of course, I'm the only one who's ever experienced this, right? I hear stories from people with their kids, their kids come, and it's just it's like, I could have taken it 5 minutes ago, but it's just this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Someone in traffic, right? Yesterday, I could have taken that person driving that slow, but today, I swear, I will run my car into you. I do not care. We're all on the bloody edge, aren't we? It's like anything is going to shove me over. I'm looking at the woman that I love, and I'm in this romantic place, and I'm going, I don't care. I'm just going to grind you down. Now, again, she's more powerful than I am, and she totally stopped me in my tracks. But it's been painful the last couple days. As I'm trying to repair what happens when I let go of my regulation, when I just kind of let it go and just kind of barf through my life. This idea of regulation, self-regulation, being able to stay in that calm place. 2 weeks ago, I talked about it. I'd read an article that completely had blown my mind. It was this idea that said love languages is not the thing that makes a relationship happy. And I was like, what? If Ellie would have just done what I said, I would have been happy, right? That just makes total sense to me. But the article, the research said, actually, that's not what creates happiness in relationships. It's the ability in that moment when I said, screw it, I'm going to let her have it because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of having to deal with this crap. It doesn't feel fair. I'm just going to let her have it. That's the moment. If I could have stayed regulated there, if I could have stayed calm, if I could have been like, hey, babe, what's going on? What are you feeling? What do you need? What are you looking for? But no, the wrecking ball of dysregulation just kind of went right through me into Ellie, into the world around us. And we've been living with that wrecking ball for the last couple days. I was watching a TV show yesterday. Same thing. I'm watching the mother dysregulate. The son then dysregulates. Then they have to have this coming together that said, oh, you know, all the things I just said to you, yeah, I don't really mean them. That, of course, takes it all away, right? All the damage that you just did, just saying I'm sorry, it just magically goes away. They don't remember it. No. It tears us apart. And it's not just in intimate partnerships. Families, friends, colleagues. And the thing is, actually, I preached that message. I told you guys, the research says regulation is what creates happiness in relationships. If you're regulated, then you can actually put the cherry on top of the sundae of like love languages, because you can actually do them. Right? When you're dysregulated, you can't do anything. You're just a wrecking ball. But when you stay regulated, you can actually look at your partner and be like, oh, hey, this would be a nice thing in your life. Great, perfect. It's the cherry on the top. Most of us are focused on the cherry when we're like, the sundae is a hot mess of just like pain and suffering. And so I sent out this message and I said, love languages don't correlate to relational happiness or to happiness in relationships. And I got an email back, which I love from you guys. One of the community members, his name is Peter. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but it was basically this: Vince, you're an idiot. He didn't say that. But he basically said, look, if I'm on the ragged edge, if I'm you sitting in wallflower cocktails, so just put yourself there in that moment. You're overwhelmed, you're upset, life doesn't feel fair, things haven't been going well. How would you handle that moment? Now you're all looking at me saying, I would have been totally regulated and handled it perfectly, right? No, it's been too much. And he said, look, you put me in that moment, and you think that I'm not going to go and just like barf all over everything? Yeah, good luck. It's like saying somebody who has PTSD, yeah, just calm down. Right? And I thought about that for a while, and I thought, you're totally right. The moment when so me and Wallflower, right in that moment, it's too late, isn't it? If you put yourself in whatever your Wallflower moment is, when you're about to snap, I'd like to say that we could all just stop there, but we don't, do we? It's too late. Out comes the wrecking ball. We're going to take it out. My mom, God rest her soul, had 3 kids, and I was one of them. Poor. Don't you all feel bad for my mom right now? The number of times at -30 when the wind's blowing and the blizzard's happening and my mom's like, I've had it up to here with you kids. And she's looking at me like, anyone had it up to here? And the other day, Alessandra, you said about your daughter, I've had it up to here with COVID, right? Like I'm just sick of COVID. How many of you have had it up to here with something in your life recently where it's just like, oh. And I love how my mom said it, right? It was like her body was as much stress as she could handle. And she was now at the very top. And she knew, one more word out of you, Clausen, and I'm going to lose my mind on you. I've had it up to here. How many of us are right here right now? I'm sitting in Waalflower, and what am I? I'm right up to here. I don't even realize it. But one more thing, and I'm going to snap. How do we live a life that's not from here? That's not one more thing, and I will lose it. You ask for one more thing. You say one more thing. One more thing goes wrong. One more person does this, and I will lose it. How do we not live there? It was after my divorce. Me and Ellie were just newly together, and I wasn't doing well. I was living most of my life from here, right? Anyone ever heard of mirror neurons? A mirror neuron in your brain is what picks up the emotions of the people around you. So it's how when someone smiles at you, you can feel happy. When someone feels sad around you, you can feel it. It was so bad in my life that somebody even feeling something close to me, my mirror neurons would pick that up and I'd go over the edge. I'd snap. Or I'd try and fix them. Or I'd try and get them the heck away from me. Right? That was enough. It wasn't even someone did something to me. Someone just feels something in my presence and I'm going to lose my mind. I was living my life at like 99%. And I was like, this isn't working. I got to do something different. Series of events. I'm now sitting in a yoga studio in Santa Monica, California. And I literally think I'm having a stroke. You know, I've gone to this retreat in this like fancy yoga center with these fancy people, you know, fancy California stuff. But there's 30 of us, 30 men sitting in a room, cross-legged, on a block, and we're breathing. We walk in for this weekend-long intensive. The guy basically talks to us for 10 minutes and says, okay, we're going to breathe. And so I start breathing, and the first thing my brain's doing is, what the heck's going on here? I came all the way here for this stupid thing. What the heck? What's going on? And pretty soon I'm doing like doing my budget at home and like thinking about this and that, and right? My brain is just going bananas. And then all of a sudden it stopped. I was like, I'm seriously having a stroke right now because nothing's going on upstairs. That has never happened to me before. Do I call 911? Is there like a safety protocol here we need to deal with? I literally had a bunch of time where I was like, something is seriously wrong with me. I've never experienced this before. And then what I felt is this. I feel more calm than I have in years. Normally I run at 99%, right? Anything will put me over the edge. I felt like I was running at like 70%. I had this big ocean of capacity for the world around me. At 99%, yesterday, somebody was driving a little slow in front of me, and I'm thinking about my message as I'm like right on their tailgate, like ready to go onto the horn, and I was like, wait a second, what am I doing? I'm running at 99%. What do you do at 99%? When you have that much, that full of stress, how do you handle when your kids ask you for something? How do you handle when your friend doesn't call you? How do you handle when work doesn't go well? Man, at 70%, it was like I could see the world through a new set of eyes. Somebody driving slow in front of me, meh. You know, I'd have a little bump, but then it would just kind of calm down again. Ellie saying, hey, I need something from you. Boo. Ah. No dysregulation, no blowing up, no freaking out at people. So let me ask you, where are you running right now? Are you like 99%? Anything going to put you over the edge? What would your life look like if we could get you down to 70%? Where you had capacity to deal with other things. Someone feels something next to you, you don't have to make that stop. You can actually feel it with them. Things go wrong in your life, you have a buffer. You're like, oh yeah, okay, well that stressed me a little bit, but I got room for that. What would your life look like if we could do that? That's what we're here to do today. I want you guys, in whatever the Waalflower cocktails moment of your life is, when you're sitting across the table from whatever that is, I want you to handle it at 70%. Not like me at 99. So if you're open to it, I want to take you guys back to Santa Monica and teach you what I learned. And it's basically breathing. So if you're open to it, here's what I want you to do. Sit back. We want to open up your diaphragm a little bit, feet on the floor. If this doesn't work for you, don't have to do it. I'm just inviting you to do it, see if it works. Here's what I want you to do. Take your hand, put it on your lower belly, right down here. Can you see? Now, as you breathe, I want you to push your hand out. You'll know you're not doing it if your shoulders go up. If you're doing this, that's not the breath we're looking for. This is how we breathe most of the time. This is the breath of anxiety. This is the breath of, there's a bear that just walked up in front of me and I'm freaking out. You'll breathe like this, right? Up here. We want to breathe down here. So push in your stomach. Now I want to encourage you to just keep breathing that way. Keep your eyes closed, whatever you want to do. Just keep working with that. There's a story from the beginning of the Christian tradition. In Hebrew, we call it Bereshit. In English, we say it was in the beginning. It's not that it was actually the beginning. It's a story that says, how did we get to this moment? It's kind of like a fable or something like that. Says kind of like the moral of the story is here. But in the story, it starts with this. Everything is chaos. And the Spirit of the Lord was floating across the water. Now, just let some of the imagery just be soft for a second. It said God spoke and chaos became order. Night, which was chaos for them, became day. Dark became light. With breath that made voice, order happened. It said that things were created in a certain order, and at some point, Adam, which is the word for humanity, or mankind, or people were there, but they weren't alive yet, and God breathed into their nostrils, and they found life. As you breathe deep into your stomach, can you feel the breath creating chaos into order? Can you feel the breath that brings life? As we breathe, I'm going to change it a little bit. Still breathe into your stomach, but I want you to breathe in for 4 breaths, or 4 count, and out for 4 count. So we're going to go like this. In 1, 2, 3, 4. Out 1, 2, 3, 4. In 1, 2, 3, 4. Out 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the rhythm going. We're starting to calm our breath now. We're starting to find rhythm. There's a character in our tradition. His name is Moses. He's the guy that parted the Red Sea, that guy. before that, he was kind of a chump. He'd broken the law and he was on the run, and he found himself in a thin place. A thin place is the word we use when it feels like the divine and humankind, it's very thin between them. If you've ever been on top of a mountain or in a forest and you feel like there's something there, that's a thin place. He's in a thin place, and God shows up. Now, be careful with that word God. I'll say something more shows up. Something more that was part of his ancestry, that was part of his tradition. He felt something there, and he said, "Would you name yourself?" And that more said, "My name is this." In English, we spell it this way, YHWH. What you don't understand is in Hebrew, when it was first written, they didn't put vowels in anything, just consonants. And so this word, depending on which consonants you can put between the letters, it makes different names. Some might say Yahweh. Anyone ever heard that word? Jehovah. All it is it's different vowels between the same consonants. But there's this tradition in the Jewish community that said, what about this? YHWH. In Hebrew, it's Va, Ha, Vov, Ha. Can you throw that up on the screen for me, Esmond? Okay, we're going to try this. Everyone say the word. So the first letter is Y. It said Yah. Just say Yah with me. Yah. Hey. Vav. Hey. Yah. Hey. Vav. Hey. Yah. Hey. Vav. Hey. Do you see how your mouth doesn't seem to make letters? It's like every letter is breath. The idea is the name of God is our breath. The Siddur, as a prayer book in the Jewish community, says this: all breath is prayer of God. As we breathe, there's something of the divine there. Take a deep breath with me. I'm going to change your breath pattern once more. I want you to breathe in for 4, hold for just 2. Then we're going to breathe out for 8. Breathe all your air out. Hold for 1, and then breathe in for 4 again. Ready? Try with me. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 1 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Keep the pattern going. We're making our exhale twice as long as our inhale. In the Catholic tradition, which is part of our tradition, there's an idea of Trinitarianism. If you've ever seen someone cross themselves, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, that word spirit, is the Greek word pneuma. Pneuma means wind or breath. When I say Holy Spirit, it feels like an entity or something other than us. But what if I say this? Holy breath. As you breathe in, can you feel the divine inside of you? As you breathe out, can you just feel the divine flowing out of you? Science tells us that one branch of the polyvagal nerve is stimulated when we breathe into our bellies. When we breathe, our exhale is longer than our inhale. That's how science tells us this works. The Christian tradition says breath created order out of chaos. It's the name of God. And our breath is holy. Can you feel it? I was going to check in with multimedia. You keep breathing. Hey, Esmond, can we throw up that quote, or is that out? Okay. It's interesting, as we did this message, wouldn't it be nice if we could take out the things in our lives that stressed us out? Like, seriously, folks, if we get rid of COVID, we're all going to be much less stressed, aren't we? Parents, kids back to school. Some of you, that's going to be less stressful. Some of that's going to be more stressful. We think often, if I can just take these external things out, then I'll be okay. We have this idea that somehow that's the cause of the problem, and it is. If we could remove those stressful things, there won't be as much stress. We can take ourselves from 99 down to 80, down to 70, down to 60. So I'm doing this message today. The sound breaks fairly systemically. Multimedia breaks fairly systemically. Stream is like a last minute pull it out of our butts moment where like Sean totally nailed it, but like nothing had gone right today. Nothing. I'm breathing like a banshee trying to stay calm through all this, right? But can I control that? If the sound system just worked like it always does, then I wouldn't be stressed, then I wouldn't be at 99. But can I change that? No, I can't. What I can do is change how I'm processing that stress inside of me, how I'm handling that part of it. I've spent some time doing this with men's groups as well as with myself. I've gone to train this stuff. I've gone and run men's groups. And one of the guys from one of my men's groups, I talked with him about this message. I said, I'm talking about breath. And he's just like, oh, Vince, that's changed my life. I said, would you come up on stage and talk about it? He said, there's no deep breath enough for me to come up and do this. But I'll write you something. So here's what he wrote. Breath work has made a lasting impact on my life, one that came completely unexpected. At a time in my life where I felt broken and invisible, hanging on by the tips of my fingers, deep breathing built space for me. It built a space where I could retreat to that was vast and serene. A space that was accessible only to me. A space that allowed separation from the stress and the fear and the shame and the inadequacies. It transformed my life in a way that I didn't know existed, in a way I wouldn't have thought possible. I found strength in that space. I found worth in that space. And I found capacity in that space. Breath work releases me to everything that I need. Everything I need to have that uncomfortable conversation. Everything I need to take that chance. Everything I need to live more fully. Breath work gave me something too good for me to let go of. When I started this message, I told you about the story of Waalflower. I'm running at 99%. At the beginning of this message, before, when you came in here in the rush, in the stress and all that stuff, how would you have handled that moment? Would you have done better than I would? Or are you like me, running everything at 99%? Now take a moment and just check in right now. We've been breathing for about 15 minutes. How do you feel? Are you still at 99? I've had it up to here? Or do you have some room now? Can you feel what breath does? Just take a second and feel the space right now. Can you feel how calm it feels? What would it be like to bring this into the rest of your life? I wrecked that date. I wrecked days after that date. This Vince would have had a much better conversation. And me and my wife would have been walking down the river, holding hands, talking about our vacation, and having an amazing time, instead of trying to repair all the damage I did. What would your life look like if you brought this to it? At Friend Church, we don't just talk about what's good for me, although breath work, it's good for me. I'm guessing it's good for you too. I can feel it in all of you all. You're all calm and chill and like different energy. So that's lovely. That's a gift. Enjoy. But we never leave it there. It's always, how do we take it into the world? What would your world look like if instead of taking 99% capacity, where you're just blown, what if you're running at 50%? Even 80%. What could you do in your world if you had that much capacity? What would the conversations with your friends and your family look like? What would Deerfoot look like? Think about if we could bring this to the rest of our world. How that would change our world for the better. So if you're open to it, take a deep breath in your belly. Slow exhale. May we feel the breath ordering the chaos of our lives. Another breath. May we feel the very name of God in our breath. May we feel our breath is holy. My invitation to you is to do this daily and bring this to your world. Amen. Next week, I'm excited to tell you that Trevor's going to come back and revisit one of his favorite messages. Actually, it's one of my favorite messages. It's called The Spiritual Gym. It's how we named this place the Spiritual Gym. He's going to bring his newest thinking on it. I'd love to have you come out. Everyone, bring this breath to your world today. Have a great week, everybody.